Last time on Square Roots, we catch our breath in the chemical bar, play a round of Guess That Gand, and tell a group of people that they don't have to live like a refugee. You don't have to live like a refugee. Don't have to live like a refugee.
We should do light side and dark side last time on. That would be fun.
Last time on Square Roots, Matt was an asshole.
Hey, that's not fair. Jellicle Cat was an asshole.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Square Roots. I'm your host, Johnny Brandon. And with me, as always, friends with the future, Jim Banks.
Hello.
Also with me is Matthew Angelical Van Zandt.
Hello, Jonathan. I am not a robot.
Oh.
I am not a robot.
You're not what I would call a computerized stranger?
I guess not. I guess not.
And here, with her electrified hairdo, is Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa. Zat, 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 zat.
I like it when we make references 0% of the audience will get.
I don't even get the reference.
Not
I'm just going along with it.
People
All
on
I
the
know is that
Facebook
you're a
group might
robot.
get it.
No one clicks
You
play
were in
on...
the same...
I know. I didn't
Chat.
watch it, okay? Yes, John sent us a video for a song called I Fell in Love with a Starship Trooper, and I gave it a hard pass, like you do.
So, one thing I've noticed, if anyone's dating, if you send someone a YouTube video and they actually watch it, this person really likes you. That is my dating advice. Because people who aren't super into you will not watch it and then be like, oh yeah, I'll watch it when I get home, and then they won't, and then they'll change the subject.
That is great advice.
Yeah.
Sort of like when Matt or Jim sends one of their death metal videos and I do not watch it.
You're just not that into death metal. Would you call Dragula death metal?
I thought
didn't know what I'd call it.
I just thought that was a funny video.
Yeah, that was...
Maybe it was.
Jeez.
They were
Definitely Dragula is like new metal, right?
Well, it's like, I don't know, like horror, thrash, something.
It is. It's like horror rock.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call
was-
it metal.
Into
You
it
wouldn't call it
until
nu
the
metal?
thrashing started. Like, I liked the beginning when it was like, and then it started to thrash, and I did not like that.
You didn't want to get in the back of their Dragula.
When did you send that, Jim? I've had that song stuck in my head for like a day.
I sent it yesterday. It's that song set to like an 80s aerobics video.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Dragula was used in video game soundtracks throughout the entire PS1 generation. Like, nonstop. Every game on the PS1, especially like from EA or whatever, would have Dragula. Like, Road Rash definitely had Dragula on the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Dragula.
Road Rash had like a Soundgarden, like a lot of 90s post grunge was in the Road Rash games.
There was definitely Tea Party on that soundtrack.
Yeah.
So, this podcast is not a podcast where we play Road Rash. It's a podcast where we play a classic RPG, one chunk at a time, and we're celebrating Bio-January by playing Knights of the Old Republic 2.
BioWary. It's
never
not
call
called
it that.
Bio-January. It's called BioWary.
Oh, wait. Which is the one I usually call it BioWare. No, I usually call it, I don't know. I think you're right.
No one calls it Bio-January.
January.
But we are on Chunker 4. So if you want to go back and start with Chunker 1, go back a couple episodes. I think that's one of our best episodes of all time. So go back and enjoy that.
You always say that.
No, that one was really good. I think.
It was, and we don't know why, or else we'd repeat that magic every week. But friends, we can't do it.
I guess.
I mean, I could definitely only show up I could only show up for episode 1s.
Well, that would make the podcast less good because everyone likes it when you're playing along.
It's true.
Anyway.
Just like I did this week when I played along.
Sure. And before we get into our little game club, like a book club for your ears, or a let's play for your ears, we are gonna level up. So let's start with Matthew. How did you level up, buddy?
Well, as you guys know, I have been gone from the show for a while. So I did kind of want to level up with just all the things that I did in the last... No?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
You have been on...
You were gone. You cannot milk being gone for a while forever.
You can do a level up classic if you can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Really, all I want to talk about is what I want to level up with in the future, which is the chicken dinner package at the shooting gallery in Las Vegas, where you get to shoot every PUBG gun. And I really want to do it. They also let you run over a car with a tank. It only costs you $2,500. It's
I feel like
pretty
that's
fucking cool, actually.
not a good use of our funds. If you want to do that
feel
on
like
your own.
Yeah.
I wasn't suggesting that we would use the patron funds for it. So, stuff that advice, sir.
I do not choose to go anywhere with you gentlemen that includes live ammo.
Okay.
I just don't think it would end well.
What about live tanks?
Wouldn't end well for who?
Well, she's leaving that
I won't
vague.
say.
Yeah. She's basically accusing us all of being literally deadly dangerous. It's pretty...
Well, I wasn't sure if it was that or if she was threatening us.
I think it's a little bit of both.
That's a good point. Huh. Not that I can blame her.
Maybe
Anyway.
we can play a nice game of laser tag.
Yeah.
I would be okay with that.
Anyway, how did I level up this week? Well, gang, I have a fun little thing to talk to you about. I, in the last month or so, have been reading the X-Men.
In what sense?
I decided to do a read through of all of the X-Men's big events from the 1980s on, from when they got, basically when it got good and stopped being terrible. And,
so you're talking about like the Dark Phoenix arc and the whole Genovia business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
there's a bunch of those that I never read. I feel like that's probably true for a lot of people, that you just kind of maybe read one or two, you know, if you read them at all. And I decided that I would read them all. And you know what? On average, they're pretty terrible.
How are you reading them?
I'm reading them all digitally. And so that's maybe a little part of it, because, you know, kind of just reading them on my phone or on my tablet. Yeah, I've leveled up to the mid-90s with the Age of Apocalypse.
Who's your favorite X-Man?
I don't know. I just like the X-Men a lot.
I'll give you points for not saying Wolverine, like a boy from the 1990s.
Wolverine is not my favorite X-Man. The problem with the X-Men is they're all kind of not great. But as a whole, they work together well. When you read a bunch of it all at once, you really catch on to the gimmick that the X-Men is always just a series of powers trumping each other until there's one person left, and then that's usually one of the X-Men, and they win. Or it's the bad guy, but then the X-Men come back miraculously and win. You know, that's just comics.
Yeah. What I don't like is how they keep increasing every character's powers to fit into the new storyline. It's like, here's Kitty Pryde, and she can walk through walls, and also time travel, and also manipulate atomic energy to explode, and also she can turn into a dragon. You know, it's like they just keep stacking powers and powers and powers.
Yeah, I don't know that the X-Men are quite as guilty of that, honestly, but they kind of limit themselves, actually, in my opinion, where Like, Cyclops can really only just shoot laser beams out of his eyes. No matter how strong you make him, it's never going to be a lot better than that. Like, there's not going to ever be a lot more to it. Where some franchises have characters that can, like, I mean, just, take Iron Man, for example, can constantly upgrade and change. But the X-Men do that with introducing new characters who turn out to almost be Summers brothers over and over and over again. I have passed by like 3 or 4 at this point. Did you know that Gambit was supposed to be Cyclops' brother when he was originally conceived?
From another mother?
I don't know. They did a couple of, because he's already got a brother, so there's 2 of them.
Havoc Summers.
And Alex Summers. And they did definitely, like, Gambit showed up and it was kind of a question for a minute because he's got them red eyes and he got the hair like them.
I have a question.
And then the guy showed up who can, like, set blood on fire.
I have a question.
I'm sorry. Yes, Vanessa. Vanessa!
How can he be a Summers brother at the time of conception, but then when he's born, he's somehow not? That makes no sense.
Terrible. Anyway, that's kind of it. I just wanted to talk about X-Men. Thank you for humoring me, Vanessa, in particular.
I watched a Lindsay Ellis video about Mystique this week, and it says that she's everyone's mom?
I think that... I feel like for a while there, she was like, she's Rogue's foster mom, and she's Nightcrawler's mom, and maybe she has another kid with Sabretooth. But I think that was in the 90s, and I feel like that's all been retconned at this point.
Okay.
I think maybe she's nobody's mom at this point. She's pretty nasty because the way that they did it, I actually just kind of passed by that and I was a little shocked. I feel like they retconned and rehabilitated that character a bit because she got so popular in the movies, because the way that it's claimed when they were doing it in the 90s was like, she was Nightcrawler's mother and threw him over a fucking waterfall, to save her own life. And then she had another kid and she fucking was terrible with him. And she's like a monster, basically. I think they kind of rehabilitated her at some point in like the 2000s, though. You know how they retcon things. Oops, it was all of this. That's comics. They can do whatever the fuck they want. It's pretty fun watching how radically things change. I did struggle through the 90s with like the fucking, what's his name? Rob Liefeld, and struggled there for a while. Struggled pretty hard. Anyway, I've already talked too long. I'm sorry, gang. Hey, John.
Yeah.
How did you level up?
Well, I watched a very good episode of The Good Place. The latest one was a lot of fun. I think Megan Amram wrote that one, and she's always fun to write. And you can really tell her writing because it really goes into like nerdy web stuff that is a lot of fun. And I also played some more Final Fantasy 14, and I did a dungeon with like randos. And it was a lot. The tank kind of ran through it without letting me look at any, because there's like flavor text stuff all around. And then we got to like the big boss fight, and there's a big cutscene like explaining a big plot point in the game. And he like skipped it in the background. So he initiated the boss fight. I could see like damage stuff going on in the background. And I was the healer and I was still in a cutscene. So like, I was like, okay, how do I skip this? So I skipped the cutscene and he was dead. And I had to like raise him and try to keep everyone alive. It was really hard. And then after the fight, everyone was like, oh, I apologize for watching the cutscene. Like, oh no, you're supposed to do that. The tank is supposed to wait for you everyone to finish cutscenes before going on. But this guy was just racing ahead, wanting to get everything done, which is kind of online games in general, I think. But it was fun.
Yeah.
Like, I had a good time. I think the dungeon is the most fun I've had with that game because it's not boring. Basically, like it's you have to really be paying attention, and there's a lot of enemies, and like working with other people in a helpful way is interesting. And the other two people, that guy sucked, but the other two people were really nice and like friendly and asking how I was enjoying it and giving me tips and like not in a patronizing way.
Are they in a clan? Perhaps you can join it. I
am in a clan with my friends, but they're never on because I'm playing it like early morning when I get off of work.
I see.
Yeah. So I played that, and I played a bit more of Star Wars The Old Republic, where I'm on Nar Shaddaa and going through some quest lines there and sort of trying to see any references back to this game, I haven't seen that many. I'm kind of surprised. There's some locations that are similar but look very different. Vanessa, how did you level up?
I lived the dream. For years, I've had a dream, and that dream was to go to Dave & Buster's, the Chuck E. Cheese for adults.
Uh-huh.
And friends, I went there. It's not for adults. There's kids all over that dang place. I thought it would be like grown-ups, but it was mostly children.
Oh, really?
Little sticky-fingered children.
When I went there on a date one time, I was 22 and my date was like 19. They wouldn't let me in with him because you had to be like 25 to bring a minor in or something. It was
really?
Very weird. Or not like because they serve alcohol.
Yeah, I guess that actually makes sense. I mean, definitely the bars that I went to when I was like 19 and 20, it was me going in there with a 20-year-old and then taking his drinks all night, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this particular one was at a shopping mall, and the arcade was really separate from the bar or the restaurant area. So I think that might have been what was going on. Still had a good time. Went with 4 friends, and we played games.
Did you play Mortal Kombat?
No, but I did play a Marvel fighting game that gives you like a card when you finish.
Contest
like
of Champions?
A physical card. I guess so.
Did you play Injustice?
No, I did not play that one.
That also has like cards that it gives you.
Okay.
It's weird.
That's
a weird gimmick.
Yeah, and then you scan the card, and then you can play that character.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas otherwise, it just randomly selects characters for you.
Oh, really? That's weird.
Yeah, It was very strange.
And I guess it tracks your stats and stuff as you play with the same character, right?
I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe. I didn't play it very much. And played some of those games where you hold the peripheral and shoot things. I played a Star Wars game where you sit in a pod and fly a X-Wing and shoot. I was not good at it. I did fail the mission. And then played a lot of like skee ball, air hockey, basketball shooting, that kind of things. At the end of the day, I cashed... I slammed a dunk for sure. You can't get up close to the hoop, but I did put it in there. My favorite
rubber arms.
Yeah, my favorite by far was the game where you make the coin slide down to shoot and it pushes forward, and eventually it pushes so much that you get some cards with pictures of the original Star Trek cast on it, like Spock or Kirk, and then you can trade those cards in for points. I did turn in all my points. At the end of the day, I got a magnetic hourglass thing where like the sand is magnetic sand. So when it goes through the hourglass, it makes shapes.
Oh, cool.
And I got some Harry Potter socks. And those were my prizes.
That's fun.
Yeah, Dave & Buster's. It's okay.
I remember they had a pretty good Parmesan crusted chicken salad.
We ate this thing called, like, unfondue or something. It was just bread with melted cheese on top, but it was pretty amazing.
That's good.
That does sound good.
Jim. Oh, I also tried a veggie burger, because I'm trying to do that thing where you incorporate more veggie burgers in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like,
the veggie burger diet.
Well, no, they just say like meat, you know, it's not necessarily the best thing. So when you're out at a place, maybe try getting the veggie patty instead. At first bite, it was kind of gross because it wasn't what I was expecting. But once you get past the expectation of what it will taste like, it was totally fine.
Was it like a black bean patty?
I don't know what it was. It wasn't an Impossible Burger.
Was it a Beyond, or is it?
It may have been. The texture was perfect. Like, it had that beefy texture. So I'll try some more if I go to, like, the Five Guys or whatever. Swap in a veggie patty. Why not?
It's a good idea.
Yeah. I
know that I would go to Five Guys and get a veggie patty.
Why not?
I mean, if you're going to Five Guys, what's the point of going to Five Guys to not get that burger, you know?
You're going to eat the greasiest burger in the world and a whole, like, hefty bag full of fries.
I know.
I mean,
like what
they give you
you
so many fries that I go with a friend and we get one order of fries.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't eat the whole order of fries. I can't eat the big burger. You got to get the little burger at Five Guys. Don't be a chump. And
no way. Gotta get that double with the bacon on it. I go all the way in.
I had the 2-pound burger at Fuddruckers once.
Ooh.
That was very
How did
big.
that make you feel?
I had a tummy ache after.
Oh.
Did you eat the whole thing?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right
I can eat
A while
large
ago-
amounts.
I mean, those
I came
Five Guys
home-
patties are 1/8 of a pound.
Mm-hmm. I looked in the trash can and there was like a greasy bag in there, and I was like, "Did you go to Five Guys?" And they had like that's just what the bag looks like.
Yep.
You know.
That's what it looks like.
No. Jim.
Jim.
Am I correct in suspecting that you might have a similar level up?
Yeah, I did a couple things. So I did go to a Dave and Buster's type place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have a chain around here. There's a few of them called Free Play, where like you pay, it's like $11 to get in and you get unlimited games. And then they also sell like pizza and stuff. I went to the grand opening of one that opened up near my office the other day, and it was fun. It's all like old arcade games and pinball games. So like I played like Super Mario and Donkey Kong and Joust and the old Area 51.
Those are fun.
Shooter. Yeah, it was fun, and they have a lot of beer, which was also fun. And they have
That's
this
nice.
really cool like rooftop patio.
Ooh.
Which is cool, and they play like it's like 80s rock music. It's pretty neat. And then I went to a rodeo. My department at work organized like a rodeo trip, and I took my daughter there. So we got to watch the rodeo, and it was fun. The president of the company also came, and so he's like kind of a short dude. He's maybe like 5'4", which is like the same height as my daughter that I brought. And
Oh no.
we were walking. I walked into the suite because we had a suite. So I walked into the suite, and he came up and he's like, "It's pretty embarrassing to me that I'm the same height as your 9-year-old daughter." and I was like, if she can defeat you in hand-to-hand combat, does that make either her or me the new president of the company?
And what did he say?
He's like, I guess.
Well, I guess it's time for her to start training.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I told her. But no, it was fun. I don't understand how rodeos work, like the rules or how the scoring or anything works. It's just fun to see people fly off of big animals. But it was good. It was in a really fancy new arena, and we got to eat some food. It was fun. And that's how I leveled up.
The lassoing and stuff is fun at those rodeos as well.
Yeah, this one, they didn't do that on this one. It was
no?
like it was like a team event, and so like each team member did one thing. So there was like the bareback riding, the saddle bronc, the bull riding, and then like where they jump off the horse and tackle the cow.
Bull
And you
riding
took your
is-
daughter to this?
Yeah, she's the whole time she's like, I'm having so much fun. I love this, but also I feel bad for the animals.
Aw.
Aw. That's cool.
Yeah,
Hey, I have a little bonus level up, if you don't mind.
sure. Go ahead.
By the time this episode comes out, it will have been Matthew's birthday. That makes this my birthday episode. That makes this my birthday episode.
And a
Are
very
you all going to
special
Congratulations.
sing to
year.
me? Did you get a cake? I'm just trying to figure out what I should be expecting, you know?
Well,
did you
I've got
hire a stripper? Come on, you shouldn't have. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there?
We have a special song called "One Last Year in Your 30s. Soon you're going to die."
Nope, not 39.
Oh, I thought you'd be 39.
Nope.
Oh, well, 2 more years then.
I'll be dead before I'm 40.
2 more years.
I refuse. Give my kids a hug. Tell them we had a nice run. See ya.
Yeah, with your lifestyle. Checks out.
Wow, that's harsh.
I know. I'm sorry. Matt and I live the same lifestyle, so he knows I can't judge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So, it's been a great birthday up, guys, and I guess we should get to the holocron.
Oh, boy. Well, happy birthday, Matt.
Thanks, pal.
Very exciting.
I did it. My birthday.
did it.
My brother got me tickets to a WWE show next month. It's on Valentine's Day. We got 4 tickets. We're going with the kids. It's going to be fun. It's like a house
Romantic.
show.
It's like a
fun
NXT
ticket.
house show. Huh?
What's the name of that one guy? The Mark Henry? Something Henry? Big bearded one? Or Brock? Not Brock
Braun
Lesnar.
Strowman? Are we talking about Braun Strowman?
Well, there's a couple of them, but yeah, any of the big
it's
ones.
an NXT show, so it's not that cast. This will be Keith Lee, who has become my hopefully will be there since it's a house show. He's kind of a big name now. He's kind of become my favorite. He's a real big guy, and his finishing move is called the Spirit Bomb, and he does
What's
like
his
a Dragon
name?
Ball thing. His name is Keith Lee. He's huge. He played for I believe he played college football at Texas A&M. And he's got a Dragon Ball themed finisher move, and it's really awesome. He literally throws people up into the air and then slams them down onto the mat. It's really
He wears
brutal.
cute little shorts.
Yep,
I like his cute little shorts. So he gets my
massive.
thumbs up.
He's
a
rocking a
beefy
sweet
boy.
beard now for the new year. He's all bearded. He won the belt the other day. So anyway, I'm really excited to see the NXT show because, honestly, that's kind of the only one that I actually watch with regularity is the kind of amateur league one. It's funny. I don't really care so much about the big ones anymore. Anyway, happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Matt.
Now it's time for the holocron.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
John.
R2.
Dialing in to the holocron.
All right. Let's project that holographic image of Vanessa
Oh, boy.
going on to Goto's sexy pleasure yacht.
Ooh, time for a cruise through the stars.
What was the name of your character?
Hey,
It's not Eponia Black.
It's Castagrocus.
Oh, that's right. Casta Gracchus. But she is, she's abducted by this Goto fellow.
Can we talk about what did we play in this chunker?
We played Goto's Pleasure Yacht. We played the Jungle Moon of Bushibur, and then the beautiful planet of Ober.
Onderon.
Yeah, that's the one.
So, if you remember
Bushibur?
last time,
I can't remember names. I've always been upfront. I've always
Dixon.
been very clear that I cannot
Or
and
Dixon.
will not remember the names of these planets. So
I
you can't call
always-
me out for not remembering them, because I am frank about it.
I search through
All right,
everyone's
Frank, I apologize.
names as much as I can. But so basically, you remember last time we got trapped by Goto, after he, killed Bisquick and then got you in a shock trap. So you get taken up to his sexy pleasure yacht, and he's like having a sensual conversation with you. And he wants to make a deal because basically he thinks you are the only one who can help save the Republic. And even though he's like the head of the exchange and a gangster, he needs the stability that Republic brings. And if the Republic crumbles, it'll be too hard to do business.
Right. You have to have a market in order to have a black market.
Yeah.
If there's no law, everything is legal and there's no profit in crime.
And everyone's going to be going, trying to get their own territory and do crimes of their own and not want to have this centralized crime. So it'd be bad for his business.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, how can I can escape and try to work towards that. He's like, well, no, I can't let you leave the ship. And, you're kind of stuck there, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But then your friends have this amazing idea that they will go rescue you.
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea. I really trust Atten and the goddamn Force ghost inhabiting a dead body, and, in my case, a cool evil Wookiee.
Tell us about this Wookiee, because
I want to know.
We didn't hear about this last time.
So, in that area where, right before you kill Viscus, instead of playing as Mira, which you all did, I played as Hanhar, the Wookiee, and Viscus betrayed me. And, Viscus betrayed me, and I had to fight the Cath. I had to fight Mira, and I killed her. And then I had to fight the Cath Hounds, which I think you all did too.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, okay, I gotta be honest with you, gang. I don't know if the game is just this janky and buggy, or if there's something wrong with it on my end, or what the deal is, but, like, I go in as my character, the same thing happened, I escape as Hanhar, I go in as my character, kill Viscus, and then get electroshocked or whatever, and then there's a cutscene, and this is, again, there's a big problem with cutscenes in this game, because they just seem to just start, and characters are literally, like, popping into them while they're ongoing.
Yep.
It's crazy, and I have no idea what's happening, but somehow Hanhar ran into Crayon.
Yep, I had this cutscene
Crayon
too.
basically was like, I saved your life, now your life debt is mine, and Hanhar's like, fuck you, kill me. Because he hates life debts, and he refuses to have one, and Crayon tells him, I'm going to paraphrase here, but she basically tells him, well, I'm not like your last master, which was Mira, which is why, so I think the deal is that he thinks that the person that he has a life debt to should kill him, I guess, and Mira wouldn't do it, which is why he fucking hated her.
Yeah.
So Crayon tells him, don't worry, I'm not like Mira. If you perform these tasks for me and, like work with these people, I will fulfill my task in your life debt and end you as you want me to do. And Hanhar's like, all right, cool. I mean, he's like, but whatever. Same difference.
She also says if you do anything to harm the Jedi, she'll, like, make his life eternal torture.
Yeah. Oh, they also started referring to the exile as him. I thought I was the exile.
You
are the exile.
Oh, I think
so the game fucked up and has started calling my character him. Great.
Yeah. The game's messing with your pronouns.
Yeah, that's not cool, game.
It's not cool. Anyway, but that's it.
No.
So I have Hanhar.
Well, that's
Maybe
good.
they think that the way
I
that
really
you play
wanted
the
him,
game...
so I'm really glad that I got him. He hits like a motherfucker. He hits so hard. I love him.
Do you have him melee or with, like, a bowcaster?
Yes.
Okay.
No, he has 2 swords, and they're really good swords, and he hits like a motherfucker. So that's good.
I understand why these games don't have gore, but I kind of wish people exploded when a Wookiee punches through them.
I don't. It's kind of like I was complaining about Fallen Order earlier. Like, with these weapons that these people have, these games should be a lot more like people fall into bits and pieces. And a lot less stunned like you got hit by a goddamn electric baton.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But that's not how Star Wars be.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
it definitely is how Star Wars be in the movies. They are constantly losing limbs. How many cut-off hands are there in Star Wars?
Bloody way.
No.
I mean,
bullshit. Luke holds his stump up to the fucking camera and screams.
But he doesn't spurt his blood all over the place.
It's not spurting.
Okay, yeah, so there's not usually blood, but there is usually limb loss. Like, Ben Kenobi chops the arm off Werewolf Boy, and
it cut Darth Maul in half in the first movie.
Though that's true, he does get cut in half.
We have found a couple of severed limbs in this game.
That's true. We did find that.
We do have a missing
arm.
That's true. Same. We have one.
Oh no, we have two missing hands in our party.
Yeah, Priya got her hand cut off. What are you all talking about?
Yep, Bao-Dur also, he's got a prosthetic, but he does have only one full arm. Whoa.
This game is full of missing limbs. Mm-hmm. Your whole premise is void.
No, it's not, because I'm talking about the combat.
Yeah, you should be chopping off
your whole premise is void
stuff.
No.
Instead of like
I won that
hitting
argument,
someone
and you can't
15
with
times with your lightsaber
episode.
And telling them how naughty they are.
Yeah, naughty Sith.
So we jump into the Evan Hawk using the codes that we stole with the droid, and then go through like the back entrance of the Sexy Pleasure Yacht, and on there we encounter more of those HK droids that are wanting to impress Goto by killing you.
Yeah, that makes
sense. Go through the back entrance on the Sexy Pleasure Yacht.
Uh-huh. And there's basically no story at this point. It's all mechanics. You find ways to turn off stuff. You can turn off turrets.
It's like downloading this, upload that, reroute X.
Yeah. And you gotta
enter the current count.
Yeah.
I never did. Okay, so that puzzle, I didn't do any of that puzzle, the current count stuff.
I don't even know what they want me to do with that.
It was like, you know how they kept putting numbers in when they died, like, or they'd say numbers?
Yeah.
It had to do with that, but I just didn't I didn't see a point to enter in numbers. Even.
Yeah, I tried that too. It's like one would die and it would be like 1, 1, 1. So I'd go and enter 3 and it was like incorrect number.
Well, I think that would be binary.
I don't know binary.
No. Well, I'm sorry. And they, you can open up, you can just find all these codes and then eventually get to, codes that get you to move systems to the secondary generator so you can get the ship out. But first you have to find the exile. I did like that you're playing as the non-hero characters, except that I find they aren't anywhere near as good as your main person. So it's a lot harder.
Right, yeah.
And are pretty good.
I was, do any of you have visas?
Visas?
No.
Visas.
Oh, the handmaid?
No, the other one.
What?
Visas.
What are you talking about?
Character?
Visas.
She's the blind.
Making up a character.
That's what we're talking about,
John. The worst handmaiden or whatever?
No.
Visa Smar?
Yes, I do have her.
Okay, you do have Visas. She's the blind Jedi or Sith.
She's not in my party, but yes, I have her.
She's in my party, and
how did you get her?
She just
shows up.
Yeah, she
shows up. Yeah,
she's like
before you go to the pleasure yacht.
You do have to defeat her in combat and break her lightsaber. But I found her a new one, and now she's serving me. Although she still seems to really have a thing for her master, who she won't tell me about. So, you then you have to reroute all these systems to the secondary power system, and you go through this whole section full of mines, because Goto shows up and is like, I'll see how much they like mines. And unfortunately,
we don't like them.
No, and I couldn't use my normal droid zapping on these ones, and I was really upset because that was fun. So I had to go through them.
I brought Mira with me, and Mira is impervious to mines.
Oh.
So if she is in the head of your party, no one will set off the mines.
Oh, well,
interesting.
That's a good plan.
She's also very good at demolitions.
You get to the head of the ship and then turn off the secondary generator so you can get off the ship. And at this very moment, all these bounty hunters show up because when you turn that off, the ship appears on everyone's scopes. It had been hidden, I guess, like stealthily. And, all these bounty hunters are there to kill you. You have the Duroses, you have the twin sons. They show up again.
Yeah, and I had Atom with me because he is a Jedi at this point, so he had droid zap, and it came in handy. Mm-hmm. And the twin sons show up, and they're like, "You should check and make sure that some prey is dead before you walk away." And he was like, "Oh, come on, I already beat you. What are you doing?"
But it's a lot easier when there's more than one person.
Yeah. It went pretty fast.
And you also meet up, finally with the Exile, and then your Exile can, like, just destroy all these people, which helps a lot. And, the Duros brothers they've been, like, tracking you the whole time. They're these Bith dudes, and, they try to attack you, and they're easy to kill.
Yeah. They're like, "Bith, you thought you'd saw the last of me."
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, Bith.
You rescue the Exile, get him on the Evan Hawk, which flies off just as the pleasure yacht explodes. And Mira's like, "Hey, I know where Zez Kyle is. That's the one who looks just like David Crosby." And she's like, "Yeah, he usually meets up with me. I've been working for him, like, in secret. And trying to protect you, and let's go to my secret hideout over in the Flophouse."
The last time we went to the secret hideout, she totally drugged us. Does she really think I'm stupid enough to go there again? I am.
Yeah, me too. So you go back to her Flophouse, and Zez Kyle is there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, all them Jedi were blown up on Qatar." He doesn't sound like that. He just looks like he'd sound like that.
He really looks like that. He has got the mustachiest mustache.
So
the most muttony of chops.
All of the Jedis all met up on Qatar. That's where Visas is from. And they are having a little Jedi party that got blowed up by some Sith bad guy that we don't know. And he's like, I really want to find out who blew up our party.
Yeah, I'm going to find out this stuff. They do suspect that anytime they're all together, they attract the Sith, and that is why they have scattered apart.
Now, maybe Matthew murderized him, because that is an option. You can do that.
You can kill him. That's crazy.
Yep, you can kill him, or you can tell him, hey, let's just meet up on Dantooine. And you can ask about, like, hey, you were, like, saying mysterious stuff on this recording we found about me and my past. He's like, yeah, that don't be a complicated situation, so we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. He kept saying that I was going to kill him. He's like, yeah, I guess you're going to kill me now. You really won't kill me. And I'm like, I don't want to kill you. And he's like, I'm ready. I accept that you're going to kill. I'm like, I'm not going to kill. We exiled you, and you're back. It's time for you to take your lightsaber and put it right into my chest. Just right in there.
And why didn't you do that?
Because
why would I?
We love Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, he was on the council that excised me, but guess what? I went to war, so consequences.
But I'm not going to tell you all your secrets. I'll tell you all your secrets on Dantooine.
Yeah.
All right.
But, I do appreciate you not taking your lightsaber and removing my head from my body.
Why did you turn into that chicken from the Warner Brothers cartoons?
I say exile.
What's the name of that chicken again?
Foghorn Leghorn.
Oh, that's right.
I thought you were talking about Futurama. I may just be a space chicken lawyer, A simple space chicken lawyer.
That also fits.
That does also fit. So you'll meet up with him later, and when you get back to your ship, there's a present. A present left by
What is it?
Goto. It's a big round boy named G0T0.
Go to. It's one of them very scary droids that was in episode 4.
Yeah.
When Darth Vader's like, we will make you talk to Princess Leia. And then this droid comes floating in, and it does have a big sticky needle on it.
And it does
I believe it is a torture bot. Mm-hmm.
I had nightmares about that thing for like a year after I saw Star Wars.
It's
really
terrifying.
Yeah.
It's the scariest thing in Star Wars.
I was like 3 or 4 when I saw it, and I had nightmares
It is,
about
though.
it.
It's the scariest thing, and now it's here on our ship, and you can be like, go away, and it's like, well, if I go away, I will self-destruct and blow you to hell.
I thought
you work for me, and I live here now.
Yeah, so like it's basically Goto is remote piloting this droid from his ship, or well, he don't tell us where his secret location is, and I thought it might be John Delancey because he sounds a bit like John Delancey, but it's I think Cam Clark is the voice actor, but he's got a very stern kind of evil voice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like he's got this floating webcam following you that can also shoot guns.
It's creepy.
Mm-hmm. And I guess if
I'm
you
gonna
want
take
to
a Post-it and put it right over his eye. And there's nothing he can do about it. He doesn't have any arms.
Did I tell you about my roommate? How I have my Kinect. It's not even plugged in. It's set next to my Xbox in the living room, and my roommate like keeps flipping it down, even though it's obviously not plugged in. He doesn't want that camera facing him.
Mm-hmm.
But he also has like 5 Google Homes around the house. So he's fine with being listened to.
Yeah. Me too. That's why I do a podcast. You can listen to me. You may not look at me.
Okay. Well, then how are we going to do our episodes when
Hey, no spoilers.
Oh, sorry. I'll R2 that out. Now we head off to Onderon, which is not Alderaan.
On to Onderon.
Do we?
We do.
We
get
do.
in your ship and you fly. Well, okay, you're right. Actually, we try to.
Yeah, you try to.
We're gonna go to the not ISIS spaceport.
We're going to the ISIS spaceport.
No, ISIS.
Were these cutscenes good when the game was released?
No, this was think about this came out.
This is so janky.
A year and a half before Final Fantasy 12, which had way better ones, or Final Fantasy 10, which had better ones, or they were just low budget. They did not.
This is just
good.
a case that this game is poorly made, right? I mean, this isn't like because it's an old game. This was never a game that worked well.
We actually had a listener comment on that because we'd been talking about the game as being pretty well received when it was released, but I think we had a listener tell us that like the game was pretty hated and the developer didn't redeem themselves until New Vegas.
That's definitely how I remember it going, and I believe I've said that. It had a real Mass Effect 3 problem. Everybody says the game doesn't have an ending.
Yeah, that I have heard. But I've also heard the writing is very good, which some of it is, and some of it is not.
I mean, yeah. Is it? What's been good so far? I'll tell you what this game's been good at. They've definitely convinced me that the Jedi Council are fucking evil and deserved to get broken up and should not be reunited.
I think that's part of the interesting is that it's less black and white than KOTOR or regular Star Wars. And I think like Atton's story gets really interesting. I like Mira. I don't like Visa's. I think she's just kind of a boring character, but the Handmaiden's fun. Her stuff's pretty interesting, but it's like comic book level. It's not like this isn't great literature. It's never
not been. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah. So you get a message from Colonel Tobin, who's a big dweeb. He does not want us to land. He's like, one second. He's calling us dummies for coming to Onderon, and then says he'll shoot us down and sends fighter jets after us.
That's not nice.
Yes, and you have the option to play a bullshit minigame or skip it, which I very much appreciated.
I skipped it.
Me too.
Jim, did you do this?
No.
Okay.
Me
Yeah, it's
neither.
like, do you want to man the turrets or run away? And I'm like, run away.
That's what I said too.
Yeah.
This is where the super janky cutscene comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, our boy Atten crashes the ship. This is the, third time he has crashed the ship?
Yeah.
I just want to point out that, so it's not just this cutscene though. Like I was mentioned earlier, that cutscene with Hanhar that I talked about was so fucking jank. Maybe I didn't get it across. Like, Kriya pops into the cutscene out of nowhere. It makes no sense. I don't know what happened. I don't really know what happened there. All I know is that Hanhar's doing something and suddenly, poof, there's Kriya. And she's like, I saved your life. And I was like, what? I mean,
I had a cutscene on Onderon where I guess Bowder was still walking when the cutscene started, so he's just like trying to walk around, all the characters having dialogue, and then like we ended up in the wrong places, so like the NPC was looking at nothing and talking to it, and I was standing next to him. It was very weird. Like they could break.
I keep having cutscenes where the character will kneel, but the camera doesn't follow them to the ground. So they just like sort of elevator out of frame. Yeah,
amazing. God, this game's a piece of shit.
It's not as broken as Vampire.
You two are playing the modded version, right? Jim and I are stuck with the garbage version that. But I guess that the modded version didn't fix any of the problems. I assumed that it would, but it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, we've had all the same experiences pretty much so far.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the modded version comes in near the end pretty heavily.
Yes, that's what I was. I believe it was Dr. Steve Stone that mentioned that the game really doesn't have an ending, but that the modded content, the additional content mod, really fills that out. So that'll be interesting. So basically, when we get to like the last couple episodes, Jim, it's going to be you and me just listening to these two tell us what happened as we go, what?
So we get to, we crash land on, they keep saying it as Duxon, D-X-U-N.
Yeah.
You
Duxon.
crash land on Duxon, and Atten's like, well, this ship is gonna need some serious repairs before we can get it out of here. And, I say, yeah, I'll just go, check around, see if I can scrounge parts, and there seemed to be some kind of settlement, maybe. So I was gonna go do that. As soon as I walk out, Kriya's like, remember before she was calling Atten a murderer and was holding information? I thought I had all that information because he's like come out to me about everything he's done. But she's like, you are going to stay at the ship and you're going to fix the ship, but you're not going to finish fixing it until he's done whatever it is he needs to do. She's kind of weird. And I think this is a restored content scene.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was definitely like, you will stay here and you aren't going to interfere with what's going to happen on this planet.
Yeah. So he stays back on the ship. And, I also got my prestige class from her. And I was going to become a Jedi Watchman, which is a person who is solving mysteries around the galaxy.
Yeah, I did that too.
That sounds fun.
That does sound fun.
That's what the Jedi should be. This, if anything, it's not just this game actually, but that's what I've come around to. The Jedi should just be like independently operating, you know.
Like they're all like PIs.
Yeah.
In space.
Yes. Space PIs. Without any sort of like organizing, group. Because once you get a council involved, they inevitably fuck up.
I forget what the other choices were. One was like very combat focused, and one was very spell focused, I think. And I was like, no, this mystery solving sounds like I want to be in a Jedi, like, mystery machine, like Scooby-Doo.
Me too.
Solving.
Yeah.
ghost stories and stuff.
Might
That sounds
solve a
fun.
mystery or rewrite history. Jedi.
So the
Jedi tales.
weapon, Jedi weapon master, Jedi watchman, and Jedi master.
Right.
Does that sound right?
Oh, Master was about training other little Jedis. That was going to be your goal. I was like, that sucks. I don't want to be a Jedi teacher. I want to be a Jedi Scooby-Doo in a mystery machine called the Ebon Hawk.
So you're talking about your like second class thing.
Yeah, it's like your master class.
Yeah. Cool.
So I went, and it gives you like a bunch of new abilities and kind of, changes some of your stats and stuff. So after I did that, I started walking around, and you get some more Duros brothers after you, those Bith guys. There is a facility that you can't get into. The door is sealed shut. And eventually you walk into some Mandalorians who you might remember from the last game.
Bum, bum, bum.
They got really
Mandos.
dumb helmets.
They look terrible. I wasn't going to say anything, but they look stupid.
They look very dumb. I think it's maybe the worst design in the game.
They like come to like a weird point.
Yep.
Both on the top and in the front, and there's just like a little slit for their eyes, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I guess they didn't want to use the Boba Fett design because...
I mean, it's still the Boba Fett face design, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of.
No, yeah, it's. I found a mask that is the Boba Fett design, and I put on the Handmaiden, and it's funny because she's flirting with me, and she's got this Boba Fett mask on, and it looks really dumb.
Yeah.
They've just got this. It's not a good look. They look like they should be just making weird alien noises or something.
Mm-hmm. Gleep, gloop, bleep, bloop.
Exactly.
But anyway, they're like, we got a camp, and you're coming to it.
They kind of look like Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
They do kind of.
But it looks like their heads are too small. Like the heads look.
That's my thing. Is like their shoulders look huge, but their heads are tiny.
Yeah.
Well, Mandalorians aren't known for their brains.
Oh, so you get there and they introduce you to their leader, whose name is the very creative Mandalore.
His name is Mandalore.
Mandalore, the Mandalorian.
Oh, also, when I met those Duroses,
here.
the Duroses that attacked me, I was like, yeah, well, Mir is here, and you shouldn't try to fight her because she's like the baddest bounty hunter in all of the Outer Rim. And they're like, okay. And Mir's like, oh, thank you so much. That's such a nice thing for you to say. You're just a sweetheart. Thank you.
At one point in this chunker, I had Gotu in my party and ran into some bounty hunters, and Gotu's like, oh, I canceled that bounty. Yeah, they're like, oh, okay, our bad. Bye.
I definitely think that's one thing this game does a lot better than KOTOR 1 is if you have different party members in, you get different kind of interactions with people. The party members didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, and they sometimes run into people they know.
Yeah. And it's not like a major story thing. It's just randomly. Usually everyone you talk to, one party member will know them and have like a little bit extra dialogue with them. I think that's really fun.
It's a small galaxy.
It is. So you talk to Mandalore, and he's like, look, I actually do grocery shop runs to Isis like bi-weekly, but I'll move it up if you do some favors, make yourself useful. And you're like, well, what do you want me to do? He's like, I don't know, ask around. I'm not your dad.
Yeah. Do whatever you want.
So I decided to make myself useful, and there's so many things you can do, Vanessa.
Yeah.
You can win a fight club.
I did it.
You can help a Mandalorian named Davril fight a Zakeg.
I did it.
You can repair a computer and some shorted cables.
I did it.
You can find phase converter parts deep in the buttholes of some monsters.
I did it.
You can hunt down Tobin's scouts with Kelborn to impress him.
I did it.
You can find a hidden Mandalorian base and blow its doors open.
I did it.
You can rescue a trapped Mandalorian named Kummus.
I did it.
You can learn Beast Trick, which puts beasts to sleep.
Ooh.
I did it.
Ooh, you did all of them.
Did you do that with Kummus?
No, Kummus, once I finished with him, he just ran away.
Mm-hmm. You could actually kill. There's all these have some different alternate. Like Davril will only help you fight the Zakheg if you defeat him in Fight Club, and then he wants you to fight to the death, and you're like, oh, how about instead we go find that Zakheg and fight it together? He's like, oh, I guess that sucks. I want to kill you. And you're like, well, I obviously will destroy you. Because he's first, like, when you decline fighting to the death, he's like, oh, God, I'm in front of all my friends. Just say yes.
Yeah, he's like, come on, don't embarrass me. Just fight me to the death. Mom.
God.
Kummus is the one with, like, a really stupid helmet.
Which one?
His helmet looks different than Mandalore.
Whose?
He has like the tiny
Kummus?
weird helmet, and he's wearing like blue, like baby blue armor.
Oh, because he's just a baby.
There's two Timothy Omenson sightings here.
Ooh, tell me about them.
Well, Kummus.
I don't think I've made it clear that I love him.
He is fantastic. I mean, he's in all our favorite shows, Psych and Supernatural.
All of them. That's it.
Wasn't he also in like Deadwood or something?
He was in Deadwood. He was in Gallivant, that ABC singing show. I'm sure he's been in other things too. He was in the documentary called That Guy Who Was in That Thing, which is a great documentary about character actors who aren't really known for a particular thing. And sort of what's it like to be a television actor who's just a normal TV actor.
I'm pretty sure he's not just Kummus, but he's also the nerdy computer Mandalore guy.
Ah,
the one who's
I'm suddenly so fond of these characters.
Yeah. I also liked the shopkeeper guy who's really mad about being a shopkeeper.
He's like, oh, I have to be a shopkeeper because the old shopkeeper died by walking into a wood chipper, and now I'm the shopkeeper. It sucks.
Wish we could have seen that. That would have been cool. and he's just like super down and depressed because you beat him at Fight Club too. He's like, ugh, and you beat me at Fight Club too? What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Look, the Mandalorians, let's be frank here. These are like those survivalist guys who go sit in the woods and have their fight clubs, and they just suck. They're all baby men, and to hell with them.
Except
they're like, the Mandalore will rise again.
We both know that the Mandalores have like cool rad Destiny armor that a great chick armor lady builds for you, and jetpacks and little missiles.
Let me tell you about what Boba Fett did. Boba Fett wore a jetpack, allowing him to fly, and he still fell down a hole.
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the other Mandalorian.
I hate stupid Mandalorians, and I hate stupid Boba Fett, and I always have.
Don't talk about cool blacksmith Mandalorian like that.
Yeah,
she is the best.
She's amazing.
She's fucking rad.
Like probably one of my favorite characters this past year. She is a lot of fun, and I love their crazy Destiny armor.
Yep.
That was in pauldrons and signets and stuff.
Hey, not to get too spoilery, Vanessa, cover your ears. But definitely she dumps a dude into her goddamn blacksmith thing and he straight up melts or vanishes? It's insane.
She is.
That's pretty cool.
A lot of fun. And I kind of like, I think a lot of the TV show Mandalorian stuff was in expanded universe things before. I feel like this isn't whole cloth new. I feel like, this is kind of based a little bit on some of the books and things you could get.
A lot of it, I think, is talked about in the Clone Wars cartoon as well.
Okay.
And I think that that is the one thing that remained canon, right? It's one of the few things that remained canon.
Right.
So
yeah, they make
all
a
of that
lot of
stuff
Clone
that they
War.
did. And in Rebels, one of them was a Mandalorian too, right? Anyway.
I was thinking we could maybe do a level up for our bonus episode next month and talk about all things Star Wars. Or are you Star Wars'd out?
I was thinking that we're going to do Fallen Order, and if it doesn't take us 2 hours to talk about it, maybe we could squeeze in a bit of Star Wars spoiler cast at the end of it. Okay.
That sounds good to me. So these these less cool Mandalorians are less cool, but you can help them out and do odd jobs for them. And eventually they're like, all right, you've earned your trip to Isis. Mandalore's going to go shopping with you. And he's like,
Did you say ISIS?
Isis.
ISIS?
You've earned your trip.
And, right before you do though, there's a Sith attack.
Of course there is.
Gotta kill them Sith.
The combat in this game, was it last episode? No, it was the episode before last. No, it was last episode. I found really hard, but now I'm just destroying everybody. Like I
noticed that too.
Well, like you can choose to do these in different orders, right?
Yeah, I found.
Well, I guess this is right after Nar Shaddaa, I guess.
Well, you could do this before Nar Shaddaa if you want to.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe this is just an easier
So
section.
maybe it's a little easier.
I know you can skip around a little bit.
Yeah, because this seems pretty easy. Like, I was zapping all the droids. I was exploding. I mean, I do have some dark side powers. My Jedi's a little naughty. So he was yelling at people until their heads pop. But, well, they don't actually pop. That's head canon. Get it? But yeah, this Sith attack is supposed to be like a major attack, and I'm just running around just like tapping Major Scream or what, Master Scream, and they just all die in 3 hits.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. I don't mind it when these games are easy. So
I like it. I actually kind of like that your main character is overpowered compared to your companions, because so often they'll be like the prophecy of the chosen one, and then you keep running into people who are way stronger than you are, and you're like, well, why aren't they the chosen one? Because I just kind of suck and they're rad.
But in this game, you can really just murder the shit out of everybody. That fucking Force Lightning is the best, y'all.
I finally got Kriya some Force Lightning, so hopefully she'll be using that soon. I never directly control her.
I wonder if you set her to support, if she'll... Because she does use, like, fear and stuff for me as a support Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah, she's great. She's always buffing you as a support Jedi.
Yeah, she's
and
pretty
she
good.
will use her attacks, too. So I just haven't seen her use the Force Lightning yet, and I'm really excited to see that. Because I want to see her get, like, Emperor face as she does it. That's it. So you take a little shuttle ride. You get another one of Jim's favorite cutscenes as you go from planet to planet. And there's basically only one big city on Onderon. It's Isis, and Isis kind of sucks. Not a great city.
Yeah, no. It's all on lockdown. Like, people can't travel freely in or out of the city.
Oh, we haven't talked about the problem with the space battle. Since we were escaping from those 6 ships, they hit some other ships and caused a major space battle outside of the planet. And that's why everything's on lockdown. Yeah, they just
started shooting everyone. And the people on the planet are not happy about it. It's also an election year on the planet. So everyone has politics on the mind.
Well, isn't one like a monarchy by divine right? And the other is a military dictator?
Yeah. So they're like, who do you like? The monarchy by divine right lady or the military coup guy?
Mm-hmm. And you might find some political parallels here. But before we get into that, have you noticed, like, they say that this blockade's been going on for weeks now, and there's like, all these Beast Rider beasts piling up. So I guess we were on Mandalore for a couple of weeks?
I don't know. Well, the blockade was there when we got there. But I guess the fighting just started.
Oh, okay. I don't... That seems
not
weird.
Really clear.
Yeah.
Hey, did you talk about how Mandalore joins the party?
Yeah, well, he's coming with us.
He permanently joins after this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
but he does come with us to the surface, so you can only bring 2 other people.
Well, one other than you.
Yeah. You and someone else.
That's a tough call.
Except you can, like, change party members all the time. Like, it seemed like you couldn't, but you can. I just went and changed people up all the time.
Yeah, you can do it in the menu.
Mm-hmm.
I mostly just kept Mira there because I like her.
Yeah, I brought Mira because I'm trying to get her influence up by having her in the party with me.
Here's a pro tip. If you want to do bad guy stuff, have one of the bad guy characters in your party and they'll like you more. Mm-hmm.
That's a good tip.
Although I know you can also talk people, like if they disagree with you, you can talk them into being worse or better a little bit. So there's that too.
I've really been using kind of the same characters. I should try to mix it up.
Yeah. Definitely for you, Kriya and Visas and Hanhar and Goto will be the ideal companions.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Goto?
Yeah, Goto. The big scary probe droid that you're about to get. So, and HK-47. He real nasty.
He's so nasty!
I fixed HK-47, by the way. He's so nasty.
Oh. He's a nasty boy.
He's like calling me master, although he does say he both hates master and likes using the word meatbags, but he hates the word master.
Yeah. But he's like, hey, who do you want me to kill? I'm like, I don't want you to kill anyone. He's like, oh, you want to torture me then? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, you suck. I hate you. I'm probably going to kill you as soon as I can.
I brought him in the party when we got confronted by a bunch of HK-50s, and the HK-50s were like, well, we can't target that one person. How embarrassing. We aren't going to shoot them. But also, without dialogue, HK-47 will not fight them either, so he just leaves your party if you fight the other HK droids.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I thought there'd be a bit more to it, but he just sucks. Just leaves and he comes back.
They're programmed not to fight each other.
Yep. So you're down to 2, which you have to really be quick on that destroy droid button or they'll wreck you.
Mm-hmm. The destroy droid is so overpowered. It's great. It chains through them. They just all shut down. Like 3 or 4 hits, they're done.
Yep. So let's talk about politics. Let's talk about the politics of Onderon.
Okay.
So we have Queen Talia, who sort of represents the establishment. You know, she might not be as progressive as we'd like, given that she's monarchy by divine right, but she has married the Beast Rider clans with the existing Onderonians, to like, the war the war has ended between those two and the planet has seen peace, except that as soon as she joined the Republic, she got dragged into both the Mandalorian War, which really wrecked Onderon, and the Jedi Civil War, which also wrecked Onderon. So, people are leaning towards this, new populist general who maybe doesn't tell the truth all the time and kind of sucks. And is obviously evil, but will help get the resources back to, well, basically he wants to exit the Republic.
Yes, and he's a very Onderon first kind of guy.
Exactly. All these resources we're paying out to the Republic and getting what in return? Nothing. They should be paying us for our resources.
Yeah, and even his supporters are like, yeah, he sucks as a person, but I like his policies.
Oh, well, you do get some backstory about these beast riders because, they also said that the war between the beast riders and the Onderonians was called the Beast Wars. And I was like, rad!
Cool.
Awesome. He's like a gorilla that turns into a robot. The other one's like a panther that turns into a robot.
Yeah. And the beasts are very restless. You sort of wander up to this guy and he has some beasts in a cage and he's like, yeah, I'm a beast master. I can control all the beasts. And then one of his cages just pops open and he's like, oh no. And he runs to a corner and cowers while you fight his beast.
Now you might remember we got a spell called Beast Trick, which immediately calms down every animal or an animal. You can also like get them onto your side if you want. So you're like, oh, yes. I'll just use that to solve this scenario.
That's what I tried to do.
They're like,
and
no, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't solve it. All it does is make the beast like untargetable for a little bit because it becomes your ally. And then the spell wears off and it attacks you again. But I tried, I like did the beast thing on it, and then I tried to go talk to the beast guy and was like, hey, check it out. I calmed him down. And it just said, this character's too afraid to talk to you.
So unfortunately, you have to kill it. And then he offers me lots of money to apologize for almost getting killed by his merchandise. See, they're prepping these beasts for the Ithorians who are going to put them onto Telos, to repopulate the animals that got killed by Malak.
I like that keeps coming back.
Yeah.
It's like people are aware of what's going on other planets.
Yeah. And, did you take his money?
No.
I sure didn't. I was like, no, it's okay. I don't need your money.
And I also really don't. Like, my character has so many credits at this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and as soon as you get off the plane, there is a guard there, a guard captain, and he's like, hey, here's your starport visa. It's assigned to you personally. Do not lose it. Let me repeat that. Do not lose your starport visa. Do not drop it. It is non-transferable. It is yours. Keep it. Do not lose it. It will be stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wants it. And I thought, okay, the game is prepping me for this to be stolen. It does not get stolen.
Nope.
I really thought it was
a lot of options.
Everyone does want it, though.
Yep.
There's a mother and 2 children, and she wants it. And at first she's like,
she can't use yours because it's in your name. She wants
but she wants a starport visa, and she was like, we're just poor people. We want to flee the war. And my awareness is high, so I'm like, are you really? And she's like, fine. My husband tried to like have a coup against the government, and now we got to get out of here.
A little bit
of a coup.
A bit of a whoopsie.
Just a
bit of a whoopsie.
Just a little coup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there's a merchant who wants it, and he's like, you're going to run into another merchant who wants it, but she sucks, so definitely don't give it to her.
Mm-hmm.
One lady offers you a lightsaber crystal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You can only get it if you're a Dark Jedi, and it gives you +5 to your damage and +1 force regeneration. So definitely, that's the one that you want to get.
So that gives you dark side points if you get it.
Yup.
But she was like, it's this amazing. She didn't tell me that was only for dark side people. Man.
Oh, really?
She didn't mention that. And she's like, this super powerful and rare lightsaber crystal. I was like, oh, lightsaber crystal. Cut to the family. My children need to get off this planet. I don't want them to know war. And I'm like, lightsaber crystal. I'll go for the lightsaber crystal, and then I couldn't use it because I'm a nice guy.
Oh, not that nice. You gave in to the temptation of the dark side, and now you have to suffer the consequences.
Yeah, but as Kriya was saying, maybe I'll need that power later to save more people.
You never listened to Kriya. Mm-hmm. I gave it to a Republic spy.
Oh, I did too. I definitely got him. He's like, "Oh, do you want anything?" But I didn't notice. Like, I accidentally jammed on like the button too fast, so I don't know if I could have got some reward, or he could have helped me with this murder case I was trying to solve. We'll get to in a second, because he knows the answer to that murder case.
He does, but he's like, "But I'm a spy, so I can't give you the answer. But I got to get off this planet to report to the Republic."
But let's backpedal a bit.
Yeah.
As soon as you leave the starport area, there are some journalists being roughed up by goons of General Vaklu / Tobin, who are like, "You fake news reporters, you're just you're just lies." I can't do it. Can't do a good Donald Trump. I think Jim does a better one than I do.
Jim, give us your Donald.
Yeah.
These journalists are the enemy of the people.
Oh boy, that's pretty good, and I hate it.
Yeah.
I never wanted to punch you in the mouth more in my life.
So they are accusing, without any evidence and without a court order or anything, are accusing this poor innocent journalist of merely reporting the news because he's part of the left-wing big media conspiracy, the main lamestream media.
Left-wing big media conspiracy.
There's definitely never been mention of any sort of journalist at any point in Star Wars before, right? Like, I think that the only way Star Wars operates is there is no news.
Star Wars needs more journalists.
The Star Wars games always have, like, news updates and stuff. Like, even here, there's some, like, Onderon news update. Queen Talia is facing increased pressure to leave the Republic after another blockade.
Well, Palpatine has his podcast.
So what you're saying is there is like a possible. So what you're saying is my fan fiction about the inept Star Wars big media and how it covered the transition from Senate to Empire is within the realm of possibility.
Well, you'll notice that when the Emperor wants to tell people big news, he uses Fortnite to talk to everyone.
John, that was too real of an observation.
Which is bizarre. It's so bizarre. And then they mention it in the movie?
It's not bizarre. It's gross and crass.
What? Fortnite?
What a stain on the goddamn movie, on that entire trilogy that's going to be 10 years from now. Unlike the goddamn original trilogy, which holds up 40 years later. This one, we're going to be looking back and all we're going to talk about is, remember that game Fortnite that definitely doesn't exist anymore because it's been 10 years? Yeah. You could hear it then. That's it. A fucking stain on that goddamn entire series.
I mean, I didn't know about the Fortnite thing going in, so I was just like, oh, okay. I guess the Emperor, that seems like a weird thing to leave out of the movie. Yeah, the Emperor speaks, but there you go.
The dead speak!
Yeah.
What a stupid fucking movie. Anyway.
Seems like something you just open on. Anyway.
We'll talk about that tomorrow night.
Yep. So you can side with the journalist or you can side with the thugs / soldiers.
And of course we all sided with the thugs because.
Well, it's interesting. The way that the quest lines unfold depends on what you do here in the next couple of encounters, because you'll get different people. It's not light side, dark side, although it is, because if you side with Vaklu, you do get dark side points, but you can still be a light side Jedi and get into the Vaklu quest line if you're like, yeah, he seems like a good guy.
Yeah, he seems fine. He shot at me, but whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I of course saved the journalist. I was like, hey, if you take this journalist without a warrant, then I'm going to make sure everyone knows about it. And they were like, dang it, another journalist. And they ran away.
There's also a big crowd gathering.
Hey, guys, it just occurred to me. Isn't it funny that this game thinks that, like, people would care or respond to the harassment of the press? That's hilarious.
So there's this guy, he's like talking about how everyone should march onto the palace and demand that she withdraw from the European Union immediately. And they'll force it. And but there's also soldiers there like, okay, come on, you're bordering on treason if you keep this up. Don't do this. And at first they calm down, but then if you walk by them a second time, they're like, come on, let's do it. And the soldier's like, oh, you better stop them. And I tried my best. I was like, hey, don't do this, buddy. And he's like, no, I'm doing it. And then the soldier's like, help me, before they, storm the palace. And I was like, that's not really my fight. Mm-hmm. So I just walk away and I come back later and all the citizens are dead.
Oh no!
What did you do when they threatened to storm the palace?
I guess I didn't walk past him twice because I just walked past him and he's like, I'm not going to keep this up. And I'm like, okay, cool. And went about my merry way.
Oh.
I never encountered him again.
No, they get slaughtered by the Queen's soldiers.
Well, I'm very upset to hear about that. That's not right. Yeah, and then you go to the, poor district.
Is that what it is? I thought it was just the other side of the marketplace. Oh.
Yeah, but it's trash. It's there's trash all over the place.
Oh, yeah, there is trash everywhere.
It sucks over there.
Yep, but there is a cantina where you can swoop race if you want.
And play Pazak.
But we go to this buddy's house. So this buddy of Mandalore, Dagon, Ghent, he has contacts in the palace, so that's where we're heading. Except we get there and he's not there.
Yeah.
And then we find out, we go ask around, and we find out that he has been arrested.
Yes, he is being held on suspicion of murder.
I did walk past this very conspicuous blood puddle and a broken droid on the way in. So
as did I, and it was just oh yeah, it's a broken droid.
Blood
what
puddle?
are you gonna do?
A blood puddle.
Yeah, blood puddle.
Just there in the middle of the street. And so we head back to this guy. I talked to him before, Captain Rickon, and he's very nice. He's very friendly. He's like, yeah, he was right next to the body and he was seen arguing with her before. So it's pretty open and shut case. Mm-hmm. And we're like, well, this is a KOTOR game and we do like to investigate some murders. So why don't we investigate some murders?
Let's solve a mystery.
And I did. Except I didn't solve it.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really solve it either.
Yeah.
You go to the bar, you find this guy who's best buds with the doctor. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, yeah, they were calling each other pieces of shit, but that's just how they hang. They're best friends. Sort of like us.
Yeah.
You pieces of shit.
Oh. That's not nice.
I'm sorry, John.
How could you say that?
Well, I mean, that's just how we hang, right? That's how we hang.
Because, yeah, I first talked to this guy who's part of the swoop gang. He's like, oh, yeah, I saw them arguing, and no wonder he killed her mouthy broad like that, huh? It makes you wish you could phaser every girl who talked to you like that.
I'm really glad that I couldn't have Atten in my party for this, because I'm sure he'd be like, yeah.
But his friend Nico, who's weirdly the best looking face model in the game, It looks much better. Some of these face models are terrible, but his looks like a human.
He was lovingly rendered.
Yeah, it looked like someone's best buddy or something. Mm-hmm. And he's just seems like a really nice guy. And he's like, oh no, they're just buddies. They just talk like that. It's just, she'll call him a nerf herder and he'll call them a yellow bellied gargfont.
Scruffy looking.
And they love it.
I guess nerf herder is really the only canon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Star Wars insult.
You do get a cutscene of the Queen being told about the space battle and how it's screwing up transit, and she does say "Shata."
Yeah.
She's.
Can we talk about how the queen, like, she is the queen of this planet where these people live. Her accent is completely different than anyone else on this planet.
Do you think it's because she's raised by Beast Riders? Because I think the one Beast Rider guy did have a different accent too. But I don't think it was
not
that
as
accent.
strong as hers, though, I don't think. Because her accent is like, it is me, the queen of... I can't even do it. I'm the queen of Onderon, my people.
Well, maybe she like went to school somewhere, you know.
Maybe
that's one of the
maybe
reasons
it's sort of like
has...
the Windsors. They have like the we talk like this, and we don't have any affect, and you can't really hear what we're saying because we are the Windsors, and it's our duty to serve the country.
Does anybody know who the Windsors are? What's she talking about? Is that a Star Wars character or?
No, like
the Windsors are Star Wars characters.
They're part of Mace Windu's greater family.
Yeah, the Windoozors.
Windows.
The Windoozors.
And she's there with an unknown person. She doesn't introduce who she's talking to at that point, right?
No, but you know, this mysterious figure that she's talking to is wearing full Jedi robes.
Yeah,
so
he is.
That might be a hint as to
like
his identity.
Yeah.
And then you talk to some people, you're like, I'm looking for a Jedi. And they're like, well, there's this one guy in the palace. And if anyone was a Jedi, I would think it might be him. And I'm like, oh, you mean the guy who dresses like a Jedi? Yeah, it's possible.
I just like the flowing robes, man. They're like comfortable and these linen pants are just, you know, really good at they're breathable.
Oh, but they wrinkle so easily. You have to iron them all the time.
That's true. So you have to, you go back with this, somehow that you think this news is going to be enough that they're just buddies that talk like that to the police, and the police are like, that's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
What are you even talking about?
You can talk to the Republic spy who says, oh yeah, I was with him during the time of the murder, but I'm not going to testify.
Yeah.
Because I'm a spy.
Yeah. He's like, first of all, the penalty for murder is death, but also the penalty for talking to a spy is also death. So you're not helping your friend if you give him this information.
It's not just selfless that he won't help. He has some reason behind it.
Yeah. So you go back and someone's like, oh yeah, there's some like there's some garbage outside that maybe he might have some stuff. And so we look through these piles of garbage and find that broken droid in the blood puddle.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately the droid doesn't have a head because you talk to this.
Nope.
There's a splicer who can help you mess around with starport visas if you want.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, if you had the head, that would help. And then you talk to that swoop race jerk again. He's like, oh yeah, that guy, that robot 1B8D, he sells used robot parts, so maybe he'd have the head. And he does. And you have to spend 25 whole credits to solve this scenario.
I hacked this droid so that it would sell things to me at a lower price, and GoTo really liked that.
Yeah, that was fun. I made him set the market rates to 0. Unfortunately, I thought it would multiply everything by 0, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It just means that he's selling it to me at cost.
Yeah.
So I bought all sorts of modifications for my armor and stuff from him.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty fun. And so I get the head, and then Kip is a Twi'lek. He helps me play back the memories of it, and we see that we see that the shots come from someone in one direction, and Nico, the buddy, is like,
someone in one direction.
Yeah.
Was it Niles?
Is Johnny in it?
That's One Direction.
I don't know who else is in One Direction, unfortunately.
Harry.
Okay.
Louis.
Right.
Zion.
Mm-hmm.
Niles.
Right.
Liam.
Okay.
Jesus, what is happening?
So
my mom really likes One Direction.
Someone in One Direction shot it, and it definitely wasn't from the same place that the Dr. Dagon was coming from.
And they spent a long time talking about a magic bullet, and there's got to be another shooter from the grassy knoll, and
and
it's a good movie. I'm glad that we all watched it for this episode.
The police buy it.
Let's talk about JFK.
They're like, well, we have other people that say they saw him coming from that direction too, and this proves that whoever killed her was not coming from the same direction as the doctor, so he's free to go. Although the major comes in and he, I guess the boss of the captain, and he's really unhappy with this evidence.
Yeah, he's like, what the heck? We had him. And he's like, well, we have proved that he's innocent. And he's like, oh.
And then after the captain's
but if it turns out he's guilty, you're going to be in so much trouble.
The captain's like, just between you and me, he seemed real awfully interested in getting this guy convicted and not looking too close at the evidence.
Yeah.
I said too much. But there doesn't
corruption everywhere.
Seem to be a way to solve this and find out who actually did kill her. Because she seemed pretty fun.
Yeah. I wonder if it was the lady who's the head of like the Beast Gang. Because
Maybe.
I went back to that room that the Beast Gang hangs out in, and she was like, you suck. Let's fight.
Yeah.
And I fought her.
Well, because there's a couple of things. Dagon's like, well, I have some hollows that tell me how to contact people inside the palace, but someone stole them. I think it's this gang that stole them because they raided my place. So you have to go find those. And also, I know that this lady got killed, but she was all right. He doesn't seem super bothered about her death. This guy seems
to... she's supposed to be his best friend.
Kind of suck.
Yeah. But you do go get these hollows back, and you also get an empty starport visa from this lady.
And so now I got two. I gave one to the Republic spy, and then the other I bought a lightsaber crystal with.
I kept my other one because I need it to leave the planet.
Well, no, I have three.
Where'd you get the other one?
You know those bounty hunters you told to go away?
Yeah.
I killed them, and they had one.
That's the best way to get things. Take it off their corpse.
Well, I told them to leave me alone, and they wouldn't, and they didn't respect Mira, so they just had to die.
They respected Gotu. He was like, yeah, I canceled that bounty.
And
they're like, well, okay.
There was, did you talk to there was a Twi'lek and, not an Ithorian, where was it? A Devaronian and a Twi'lek discussing politics, but they're removed enough from the situation since neither of them are native Ondorians, so they're just kind of talking about it in a non-passionate way, and they were curious about who we would side with. Because the Devaronian really liked that the Vaklu could get stuff done, and did feel that the Republic was a waste of Ondoran resources, while the Twi'lek was like, yeah, but this is a long-term thing, and trade is really good, and will keep the planet more profitable and the economy moving than if it's isolated. And also, both of them agree that Vaklu's a big old liar, but one of them doesn't really care. The other one's so I said, I'm going to go with the person that doesn't lie to be the leader. That would be where I lean towards, or it's not as egregious a liar. Finally, we get those holodiscs back to Dagon, and he's like, okay, I'll set up the meeting. Let's meet at the worst bar in the city.
Yeah.
Which is a good idea.
It's the only bar in the city.
So we go back to the cantina, and we have a little meeting with this guy, Kavar.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, guess what? You suck, and I'm going to kill you.
What?
What?
That's not what Kavar is.
Is that not what happens?
Kavar is the Jedi. He's like, oh, well, I was like, I didn't even know you were still alive. Like, yeah, I kind of kept down low, and I've been hanging out here with the Queen, and things have been a little rough, and then I start asking him about like the stuff at the end of the trial, and he's like, yeah, about that. But then the second he's about to tell me the secret, Tobin walks in and starts trying to arrest everybody.
Right. Tobin is the one who says you suck and he's going to kill you.
Yeah, not the Jedi, Vanessa.
Okay,
not
I'm sorry.
The Jedi.
I have told you so many times that I cannot and will not remember the names of these people.
Well, Tobin is the jerk, Kavar is the Jedi.
It's Tobin, Kavar, whatever.
And Mina asked me not to use grenades, and I wasn't sure if I could use Force Scream. She's like, be really careful to not hit all the other bar patrons. And I was, so I just used like melee combat instead of all my awesome rad force powers.
Yeah, Gotu was like, there are a lot of people in here. I calculate there'll be a lot of civilian losses. And I was like, well, be careful. And then I lost influence with him.
Oh.
He was like, whatever, fine.
I guess you shouldn't have Goto in your party.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I think it's always
different.
I think it's interesting to have people you disagree with in your party, at least.
Yeah.
You know, you hear both sides of the debate, which really makes me very smart.
He's round, and you can roly-poly him around and stick people with his needle.
And he can also control droids, which is pretty fun. So you mow through them, and then suddenly you're getting attacked by soldiers everywhere as you walk down the street. But then you get to the soldiers outside the palace, and they're like, what's wrong? Well, we heard shots. What happened? And we're like, well, the army's been attacking us. It's like, no, we're not.
Yeah. So, clearly some miscommunication going on.
I think because they said their communication's been shut down. I think it's deliberate by, Vaklu to get, basically to get, us killed by whoever's supporting his, wing politically. He wants us dead.
So, yeah. As this planet begins to descend into civil war, we decide to hightail it out of there.
Yep, let's get the hell out of there.
We're like, heckin' bye!
There was a dark side quest we could have got where this lady, you can see her and she's named, so you know that she had, her name's Anda. She's another bounty hunter, and she wants you to kill Riken and 2 other captains because they support the queen. And she's but that's a quest we can't get because we're too nice.
I bet Matt will get it.
Yeah. And we head back to the ship and fly back to Duxon. Our ship is fixed. The Mandalore's like, hey, can I come with you on adventures? Because that sounds more fun than stick around here with these losers. And we're like, yeah, it's all right.
And you're like, yep. Once I got back to my ship, I had an interesting conversation with T3 about Mandalore. Did you do that?
No. I had some other conversations I'd like to tell you about, but not that one.
Yeah, so T3 was like, beep boop, something about Mandalore, and you're like, what about Mandalore? And he's like, I kind of know Mandalore, and you're like, what do you mean? And then he shows you a holo recording without sound of Canderous from KOTOR 1.
What?
And you're like, oh, so that's Mandalore? And he's like, beep boop, yep. His name is Canderous, but now he's called Mandalore because he's the head of the Mandalorians. And you go, well, why doesn't he recognize you? And then T3's like, well, a lot of people think that droids all look alike.
Aww. I had a fun scene where HK-47 was like, I've noticed that the Astro computer is voice locked, and it seems like someone doesn't want to know where the ship is going, but I could probably figure out a way to fix this. And then or go through the logs and see who set this voice thing. And as he turns away from the T3 unit, the T3 stuns him and apparently erases his memory.
And T3 hates HK.
Oh yeah.
Like anytime HK is there, T3's just like,
I did have Goto demand upgrades from Bowder, and Bowder's like, oh, I guess I'll sharpen up your spike.
And I had those great scenes where the Bowder's little floating probe droid was apparently making fun of Goto for being fat.
That's so mean.
Nice.
And Goto's like, stop commenting on my round girth. And he's like, yeah, you're fat, you're fat.
What?
And that's pretty much it for this chunker. I played more. I really liked the swoop race level in this round. This chunker.
I didn't do it.
It was fun. I liked it. But I did not get the quickest time because that one was really hard. Like I did a flawless run, I thought, and still didn't beat the quickest time. So I was like, nah.
Lame.
Yeah. I did second place. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also had someone who wanted me to like, if I did win swoop racing, endorse the general as part of my victory speech. And I'm not doing that. The general sucks.
No. Yeah.
Also there was a game of Pazak on the ship, like Star Trek style, and everyone was accusing everyone else of cheating.
Yeah, I saw that too. Atom was like playing with the droids and he's like, you're cheating. And then HK goes, if you draw one more +1 -1 card, I will shoot you.
It's pretty great. Yeah, all these scenes are pretty fun. So next time on Square Roots, we are going to
a short chunker, right?
Yeah, we're just going to do Korriban. And
well, I think we're going to do Korriban and the return to this planet.
Yeah. But I think it's this one wasn't a super long chunker if you...
No, and the next one is quite short indeed.
Well, that's good. So yeah, finish Korriban and go back to Onderon because some stuff changes.
Fun.
Squarely against.
We did it. Yeah, we did it.
Did we? Squarely against Matthew. What are you roundly for or squarely against?
Janky cutscenes are the worst. Matthew squarely against. John.
I am roundly for this chunker. It felt like KOTOR 1. Like it had the combat area that you explore and do combat side quests in, and it had like a mystery to solve, except you don't solve it, but it had some interesting politics stuff. I'm roundly for history. This chunker was pretty good, I thought.
Jedi Tales.
Vanessa.
I am squarely against the lack of romance in this game. Apparently it is possible to romance some companions, but potentially turning them into Jedi then cuts that path off because the Jedi are celibate. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but all I know is that neither Atton or Bao-Dur is hitting on my character, and it just seems wrong because she's lovely.
I had Mira ask me if me and the Handmaiden were together. And I was like,
oh, interesting.
No, we're just friends. She's like, okay.
I did have some dialogue where I can ask Mira about men and how to deal with them. And she says that what you do is you hit them with a tranquilizer dart and then you tie them up and take them back to your place. Yeah.
No, that's terrible advice.
I assume she meant it metaphorically.
She also refers to sex as power coupling, which I quite like.
Yeah.
Jim, what are you roundly for or squarely against?
I am roundly for the Mandalorians. They look super silly, and it's fun to like watch them say serious things, especially Kummis, whose name is Kummis, and he has the goofiest Mandalorian suit I've ever seen.
All right. Well, I don't want to read emails. Maybe Jim will read this first email.
Ooh, I'll read the first one.
All right.
We have a couple this week.
Yep.
The first one comes from Hannah. She says, "Hi, I'm sorry I'm doing this, but I can't not. Telos isn't the planet from KOTOR 1. It's another planet that was destroyed in the Jedi Civil War. Terrace is the planet from KOTOR 1.
Oh, John, you lied
Telos was
to
mentioned
us.
in KOTOR 1 because it's Karth's home planet. I'm pretty sure Destroy Droid is a neutral power, neither light side nor dark.
That's false.
Also, the mods make KOTOR 2 like 20 times better. Big fan. Thanks for playing my fave games." Again, that's from Hannah. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you for those corrections. I am simultaneously sorry that we have made errors, but also feeling a little righteous in the fact that we never claimed to know anything about video games.
We're actually not really good at video games.
No, we're not.
Bad at them, and our reading and character comprehension is pretty slim.
Yes. Destroy Droid is definitely a light side power, though. 100%. I checked it this morning.
So, why would you have two planets where the same thing happens and they have the same name except for like two letters?
What are you talking about? It's Star Wars. Every planet is the same. They're all...
Ugh.
Well, there's Onderon and Alderaan, right?
Mm-hmm.
which is super fucking
but isn't
confusing.
There's Dantooine and Tatooine.
Yeah.
What was, okay, was it, was Dantooine is the one that Leia wants to get exploded instead of Alderaan, right?
Yeah. There's also Korriban and Coruscant.
That's true.
Oh, right.
Man.
So Star Wars is dumb.
Yep.
We have another email.
But you want to read this one, Vanessa?
I do. Hi, everyone. Thank you for all your hard work. Your podcast is delightful. I was wondering if any of you had any interest in playing some Tri-Ace games. Back before Enix became Square Enix, Tri-Ace developed RPGs for Enix. They have some solid classic RPG entries, like the Star Ocean series, which is Star Trek influenced, Radiata Stories, which is like Final Fantasy Peoplemon, and Valkyrie Profile 2 has its charms. They were series I enjoyed a lot growing up and wondered if any of you had considered playing them. Thanks again, Monica.
So many games, so little time.
I think we'll end up playing a bunch of like Resonance of Fate. I know that is listener Maddie's favorite game, one of his favorite games. There's like
Infinite Undiscovery is also a Tri-Ace game.
I believe
Is it really?
so.
Mm-hmm. I have been campaigning for that game for so long.
Final Fantasy 13, 2, and 3 are Tri-Ace games.
Are they really?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I was so convinced by the lead up to Final Fantasy 13 Part 2 that it was going to course correct and be like a legit Final Fantasy game that I pre-ordered that game. What a disappointment.
I've heard 3 is actually pretty good, but we'll play them all by 2069. The year so nice we've played it nice, or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
you're a joke thief.
But for now, it is still 2020. The year so twice. We named it twice.
Hey,
so we are only playing sequels to games we've played already. So those other games will have to wait.
So I have played Star Ocean 4. That is the only one I have played. It was very bad.
Yeah, samesies. I've only played Star Ocean Pride and Prejudice, I think was the name of it. And it was real crummy.
But I've played a tiny bit of Resonance of Fate. It seems super neat, but like with the hardest combat system I've ever played, I've never played Valkyrie Profile. And I would like to play. I think they're on our list for sure.
Yep.
And I've never even heard of Radiata Stories, so I have nothing to say on that one. A fantasy Peoplemon sounds fun, but isn't that like a Suikoden?
Suikoden's more of a historical Peoplemon.
Okay.
Or like faux historical, whatever you call that.
With magic.
Yeah.
And Valkyrie Profile I'd love to play. I've heard that's amazing.
Okie dokie.
All right.
Great.
So we have
thanks, guys.
We have a Patreon.
Gals.
We're talking about, there's going to be a Star Wars bonus episode in your feed by the end of this month.
Why are you talking like
Colonel
that?
Sanders, what are you doing here? Benoit Blanc, what are you doing here?
I guarantee there will be a bonus episode in your feed that you will very much enjoy.
What the fuck? Now you're Louisiana. What are you, Waterboy now?
Oh, wait.
Clearly it's Beaumont Ken.
I am Beaumont Ken. He didn't even talk like that.
Okay. So, welcome to the show, Gambit.
There is a $3 tier where you get all our bonus episodes, including that Star Wars one. I recommend going back and listening to what was The Quiet Man? That's one of them. I think Detroit's a really good episode. I think
we played The Quiet Man.
That game was bonkers with a capital onkers.
It's kind of not even really a video game, but
I think we're only good at reviewing bad games.
Yeah, I remember that we played The Quiet Man, and I just start laughing.
I know. I was going through my PS4, my library the other day, and I saw The Quiet Man, and I was like, fuck. We played that game.
And for $5, you get to vote. And we won't be voting on the next game, but the one right after we will be voting on.
Guys, we have some sweet games lined up for this year. I'm pretty excited about our lineup for this year.
It's going to be amazing, I think. Yeah. Everyone's going to be happy. There'll be no glum faces. We'll make this election year an erection year because it's going to be so good.
This podcast is going to be the most erect thing in your ears come November 2020 election, gang. You're welcome.
Yeah, the most turgid voices going right into your ear holes.
We're going to be here to distract you from all of the horrendous bullshit that's going to happen.
This will be an engorged podcast that you will love. Engorged by great games.
Yep. Not flaccid and limp like some podcasts. We're going to be so goddamn engorged, so wrecked. You're going to not be able to ignore it. You know? It's going to be unignorable.
I will not transition smoothly into the next thing. Here's a list of our patrons.
which is also a benefit of being a patron. We read your names on the air. So I'll kick us off. Wonder Swan, Jordan O'Boyle, Brian Pitt, Florian Jonas Kramer, Galendo, Race Jenkins, Good, Let the Hate Flow Through You, Acapella Theme Song, Or We Riot.
Did you not listen to the end of the last episode?
Megan Sullivan, Free Hong Kong, Only a Jellicle Cat Deals in Absolutes, David Green, Knopford, Eric Garb, Joshua Bennett, Jake Dickerson, Just Jerry, Hexagon, Kevin Mosser, Andrew O, Michael Crawford, Cyril the Wolf, Gregory, the infamous Ganko Biloba.
Ryan Miller, Ward Childress, Nathan Poirot, DeJethro, Squall would beat Cloud in a fight, Joseph, Matt Jorgensen, Justin Ham, Ross Hartley, Miguel Torres, No Gods, No Masters. 4chan is Henry Bowers, Lex Averial, Alexander, I can't do it. And I even said to Alexander on the Facebook group, I can't do it. And he told me how to do it. And I don't remember.
Was it like
John, do you remember?
J-Kick or no?
Joe Kick? Alexander Joe Kick? I think it was Joe Kick.
Wasn't it Jovich?
Like you kick a Joe. You kick a guy named Joe.
Oh,
Joe Kick?
Maybe. Yeah, let's say Joe Kick.
I'm sorry, Alexander.
Yep.
George Brady, The Phantom Scofflaws of the Opera, Amanda Douglas, Fine, Say Everyone's Name, At Least It Annoys Matt, Sty of the Beholder, Stamu Mitchell, Sexy Grandma is Dead, Long Live Sexy Grand Moff Tarkin, Vanessa's Fourth Mom, Sean Arata, Retta is Harold Lauder, Paul Bursch.
We'd also like to thank Wash in the Wind, Robert T., Ron Squared, Hudson Roth, Mary, Queen of Scoffs, Aaron Little, Brady A. Berman. I did it all for the Wookiee! Living La Vida Yoda. Force Lightning. Go Force Lightning. Force Lightning. Go Force Lightning. Is that it? Are we doing a ninja rap thing?
I think
Chris
it's like,
Ryan.
What's that song from Grease? Isn't it like that one?
Never
Grease
heard of
Lightning.
It. Chris Ryan. Rising Hopper. Mm-hmm. Ashley T., Devin Sloan, Andy M., Matthew Newland, Sean Gonzalez, Aaron Bachman, Vanessa's lovely mother, Bree Girth, Chewy, I hardly knew he. It's a Kawami Mario.
KGG Loth, Andy Smith, Adam Zimmerman, Tom, Chris Wilder, Tyler Petty, David Shook, Huxley, Iguana, Jonathan Ellsworth, The Mighty Monarch, Stu Skeel, Rusty Kamada, Sean Walsh, Chris Penyak, Stephen Kroc, Square Roots Con 2020, August 20th at Matt's Place, to Bumpkins, Cameron Shoei, Dr. Stephen Stone, Andy Best, Robert M. Pullum, Patrick Wubbs Bears, Randy Pierce, G. Bailey, and Matthew Kesterline.
We did it. We did it. We did it. Yeah, it took 3 hours, but we did it.
All right, well, that's it for this week's episode. If you'd like to have your email read on the air, send us an email to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod.
Wow, wow, wow.
Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps the profile of the show, and we like to read your reviews. It's how we get through the day. And that's it.
Wait, is it?
You guys have anything else?
That's disturbing. What have you been up to?
Oh, I've been thinking recently that I need to look at the reviews more often because, gentlemen, this podcast is such a part of our life, but it's very isolated from the other parts of our life. And I think it might be healthy for us to think about and remember that people appreciate what we do here.
Okay, sure. That sounds great.
I don't have an iPhone anymore, so I can't look at the iTunes reviews, and that's really the only place people review things.
I can only see the Canadian ones, which stinks.
Is that true?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I can only see my country's store reviews.
Wow.
I had no idea.
Well, for Square Roots, I've been Johnny Brandon.
I'm Jimmy Banks.
I'm Matthew E. Van Zant.
And I'm Vanessa. Bye!
Bye! Star Wars! Oh God, it's Star Wars! Once again, Star Wars! War in the stars!
Bleep, bloop, bleep, bloop, bleep. I'm ready.
I am recording. I am a robot. I am a robot. Computerized
Why is he claiming
stranger.
that he's a robot too? He's not. He's clearly not. The whole premise is that he's not a robot and she is a robot.
Zat. I like when they're talking about the future, they point up.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm just gonna change devices. 1 second. It's almost out of batteries.
Change it like a diaper.
No.
You know, I've never changed a diaper.
Really?
Yeah, it's true. I'm an only child. My cousins lived out of state. Never changed a diaper.
Not missing much.
I didn't think so. I've picked up a lot of cat poop.
We've been
Welcome back, John.
spending way too much money. See, I can't do a Donald Trump. It just turns into comic book guy.
Oh, please don't even try.
Spending way too much money on this republic that does nothing.